Steve here. Welcome back to the Friendoville channel. Hey, listen, man, I figure enough of you guys liked my election recap video, and I got a lot of positive encouragement in the comments to say, hey, keep on doing these videos, Steve. I like them. Well, I ain't doing nothing else on this channel, so I figured, hey, listen, I wake up every morning, I have my coffee, I read the news. I know a lot of people don't have time to do that, so I figured, hey, why not bring this stuff to you as often as possible. Can't promise I'm going to do it every day. Anyways, we'll go ahead and talk about this today because it was sort of big news yesterday, and I wanted to wait and see if there was any fallout from it or any other information about it. As you may or may not recall, in the previous video that I did, we talked a little bit about the process of transitioning from President Trump to President-elect Biden so that he can, on January 21st, become actual president. There's a period of time when, you know, it's good to have things set up so that you can hit the ground running. And that process, the transition process, was being delayed by the General Services Administration. They were not signing off to give Biden the funds, the access, the lines of communication necessary, the clearance necessary so that he can be clued in to what's going on in this country and in the world, especially with the coronavirus stuff, because the CDC wasn't allowed to talk to Biden until transition was signed off on. The CDC, of course, Center for Disease Control, they're going to be the ones handling or spearheading the distribution aspect of the coronavirus vaccine. And so this is all very important stuff, you know, to have. And that's finally happened. As of yesterday, Emily Murphy, the head administrator over there of the GSA, sent a letter to Biden. It was made public. I have it right here, so I'll read a little bit to you. It started, Dear Mr. Biden, as the administrator of the U.S. General Services Administration, I have the ability under the Presidential Transition Act of 1963, as amended, to make certain post-election resources and services available to assist in the event of a presidential transition. I take this role seriously, and because of recent developments involving legal challenges and certifications of election results, am transmitting this letter today to make those resources and services available to you. Now, a lot of people were calling her to task, saying, hey, what's up with this? Everybody knows Biden won with 306 electoral votes. The media, if you will, called it. Even though the media gets their information from the reporting of the counties and the precincts, the media is not deciding this. The voters are deciding this, and those votes come in, and then they're counted, and those places that count them, the voting people, they report them, and the media takes that information and they report it to you. So that's how that works. Because there's this misconception out there. I see people saying, the media doesn't decide this. That's true. It's totally true. Media doesn't decide this. But they're the ones who disseminate information. So they get their information from a place. They take that job pretty seriously. Okay. So she was sort of taking her sweet time with it. And I'm kind of curious about the real story behind that. Because obviously a lot of people are coming down on her. She even mentions in this letter that she was getting threats. And her family was getting threats. And even her pets were getting threats. And that's no small matter. That's messed up. That's not a good thing. People seem to be getting threatened over anything these days. So I am kind of curious to know what the story was. I read an article on NPR. I mentioned this, I think, in the last video. People close to her vouch for her. Say, look, she is somebody who's trying to do their job seriously. This is a unique situation. We haven't had a president not concede when it's clear that he's lost. That's never happened. You have to go back to 2000 when it took 6 weeks to find the winner of the election. And that took forever because there were legal things happening until finally the Supreme Court said, stop counting in Florida. You know, George Bush, you're the winner. You get the presidency. So I'm kind of curious. She claims in the letter that she was acting completely independent. She was just crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And I'd like to know one day if that was actually the case. A lot of people, meanwhile, took this as a sign that Donald Trump had conceded this election, that he admitted that he lost, because he tweeted this out in conjunction with this letter. I want to thank Emily Murphy of the GSA for her steadfast dedication and loyalty to our country. She has been harassed, threatened, and abused, and I do not want to see this happen to her, her family, or employees of GSA. Our case strongly continues. We'll talk about that in a second. We will keep up the good fight, and I believe we will prevail nevertheless. In the best interest of our country, I am recommending that Emily and her team do what needs to be done with regards to initial protocols and have told my team to do the same. So transition is taking place. I would hesitate to call that a concession from Donald Trump, although the phrase "in the best interest of our country" usually means, hey, okay, in the best interest of letting things go forward, because it doesn't look like I'm winning this thing. But then, after that, he's been retweeting a lot of Randy Quaid video tweets. Like,
daytime ratings have completely collapsed. Weekend daytime.
Like, why? This is a retweet from the president of the United States. It's a tweet from Randy Quaid, and our president retweeted it. He's talking about Fox News and OAN, which, by the way, has been suspended from YouTube for 7 days for posting videos that lie about COVID. He's still sort of, there's this tweet that he retweeted from the Columbia Bugle. It's a picture of him, and I know you can't see it, but it says here, "I concede nothing." It says, "I concede nothing." See that? Right? But he didn't say that. I mean, it's in quotation marks, but I don't think he said that. It's just a picture of him, and there's a quote above it. He retweeted that. And then he tweeted this morning. "Remember, the GSA has been terrific, and Emily Murphy has done a great job. But the GSA does not determine who the next president of the United States will be." He's totally true. Like I said earlier in this video, the people of the United States decide that, and they voted on Joe Biden. They decided that by a pretty large margin. So there you have it. That's that. The Trump legal team, I mentioned earlier, he talked about lawsuits, the good fight, if you will. They are now 1-36, if my counting is correct, in lawsuits about this election. And according to some reports today, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump might be seeing through a lot of the BS there, because he had that bonkers press conference on Saturday. And the very next day, on Sunday, one of his lawyers that was helping him with their case, Sidney Powell, who had pushed some really bonkers conspiracy theories, she got kicked off the team the next day on Sunday. They released a statement, said, "It's not our lawyer. She's not working with us anymore. That's not happening." So apparently even they crossed their own line. That's where it stands right now. I know some of you in the comments seem to not want to believe this stuff. I am curious, and I say this with respect. I really do. Where are you getting your news from? Where are you getting your information from? I'm legitimately curious. I would love to see some channel links, some website links, and maybe I'll do a video, taking a look at those, seeing where people are getting it. If you've ever used the phrase, "I don't use the mainstream media to get my information," where do you get your information from? Steve is dying to know, because I want to look at this stuff and see where you're coming from. See why you think Joe Biden didn't win this thing. I've seen people say, I don't believe, there's no way he could have gotten 80 million votes. Well, Hillary Clinton got 65 million votes 4 years ago. Did you believe that? This is 15 million more votes, about 20% more votes. I think it's reasonable to suggest that in the past 4 months, take a look at 2018, record turnout, a blue wave. This year, Donald Trump's on the ticket. He makes a point of being in the news, being in the media. A lot of people on both sides. He had 62 million, and this year he got 74 million or 76 million, 74 million. That's 12 million more. Do you believe that? Is that something you believe, but you don't believe the other guy got a bunch? I'm looking for the disconnect here. I'm looking for where you believe there are leaps in logic. And if you're going to say, I don't believe it, that's totally great. Tell me why and give me some specific information. For example, I think it's totally reasonable Joe Biden got 80 million votes because he's always had pretty good approval ratings. Public poll ratings have been pretty good for Joe Biden. He got 15 million more than Hillary. Hers were terrible. She was an all-time awful candidate. She had her own October surprise. There was a letter released by James Comey saying that she was being investigated for, I don't know, whatever it was, her emails. And a lot of people didn't turn out for that election. That had a 57% turnout. This time we had like a 67 to 70% turnout. I think that it's very possible that, it seems to make sense to me. So anyways, let me know where you get your information from. I'm curious. I want to talk about that. It's fun stuff to talk about. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. As always, if you're going to comment, make sure it's civil. No caps, no exclamation points. No, this guy thinks that's not productive. Let's try to be productive. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.